My name is Sean Court, but I don't really want to tell you my real full name because it's kind of crazy. I normally give myself about an hour to ride the train before I go to work. Depending on how I feel, depending on what I want to see, and depending who I want to bump into is what train I might take. I'm an emotional rider. I like the 3 train. That's my favorite train because there's always a seat on the 3 train. It's like a real Harlem train. Most New Yorkers, even if you're an implant, you kind of know where to stand. You know what your stop is. Transit system in New York is always moving. I find myself rushing sometimes. I don't even know what I'm rushing to, but hopefully I'll be on time for something. But the irony is I'm often late. On the train now I'm super observant, you know, and I guess that's years and years from riding the trains and always looking around, and you can kind of tell most New Yorkers, you know, what era they kind of came from by how they behave. And it's no reason why I should be alert on the train, but because the trains are completely a lot safer. But I'm alert. I mean, I do a lot of people watching. Maybe I'm paranoid. I got robbed on the train. Gunpoint. Late 80s, early 90s. This is the reason why I'm super alert. Especially the trains in the 80s, you know, weren't as secure as the trains right now. They were dimly lit. They were often out of service. They were hot. They smelled like danger. When I came up from Guyana to Brooklyn, my mom worked in Manhattan. So for like the first year or so of me being in the country, our commute was magical. It was like kind of running through a kaleidoscope, whereas everyone at that point was just like this morning rush hour or the evening rush hour was horrible for them. I was actually excited to get on this train and spend an hour and a half looking at all this artwork on the train, reading all the tags. I actually told my mother, should we pay twice because I had a good time? You know, I would sit with my mom, you know, after a long day. It's how beautiful she was. She'd allow me to get off at a various stop, and we just kind of train watch for a half an hour. You had the 4, 5, 6 trains that came out of the Bronx. The Bronx had some more of the amazing graffiti. Their typography was crazy. The 2 and the 3 that did Harlem and Brooklyn, they were more like the caricatures. They were more like political statements. Oh man, I remember seeing one time when 4 or 5 black guys got accused of raping a Central Park jogger. Someone drew a lady running to the police, and she was pointing, and there was these black figures, and it was like they did it. Next to the black figures had these images like question marks and shit like that. There was another image that I saw of Bernard Getz. His intent that day was to shoot and to kill some black people. I guess when I started realizing that, you know, that the magic was wearing off was when the train started to change. When I saw less and less of the artwork, and I realized that this was going to end kind of soon. When the graffiti completely disappeared, the train was just like a way to get to another stop. Now thinking about this, I guess this is where my love for colors and art comes from. We need to go back to the 80s for a little bit, just for like a week.